breaking the nuclear silence, the no first use option is best left open-ended or unstated. Why India must review our no first use policy? Is Pakistan's diversifying of nuclear weapons forcing India to change its cold start doctrine? What do you mean by cold start doctrine? What will be the consequences if India changes its no first use policy? GS Paper 3, Role of External State and Non-State Actors in Creating Challenges to Internal Security. What is the context about? Since 1998, a key pillar of India's nuclear policy has been a pledge not to use nuclear weapons first. The then Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, opted to unilaterally announce that India would not be the first to use nuclear weapons. Since then, NFU has been the official policy of the government. But now Defence Minister Parrikar has broken a tradition of sphinx-like silence, acknowledging the existence of India's nuclear deterrent and even mentioned the N-word. After all, the BJP's 2014 election manifesto had promised to study in detail India's nuclear doctrine and revise and update it to make it relevant to challenges of current times. Why India must review our no first use policy? The restraint imposed by NFU would require India to suffer the loss of a substantive number of its warheads to an enemy first strike. Then the situation of using the surviving warheads would inflict unacceptable damage. This clearly shows that a state pledged to NFU must always have more warheads than our enemies can launch in a first strike. Change of no first use policy will create competition among countries for first using of nuclear weapon, as whoever uses nuclear weapon first he will have incentive to win. If the enemy comes to believe that India cannot launch a massive retaliatory strike, our deterrent will lose its credibility. Is Pakistan's diversifying of nuclear weapons forcing India to change its cold start doctrine? Pakistan is now brandishing low-yield short-range missiles, termed tactical nuclear weapons, TNW, with the intention of lowering the nuclear threshold and, thus, deterring India's putative cold start doctrine. Pakistan's perennial proxy war with frequent attacks with the confidence that India will not use nuclear weapons until and unless they start nuclear war. Pakistan has no such policy. It requires India to first absorb a nuclear attack that would include high casualties to Indian population, cities, and infrastructure before responding in kind. What will be the consequences if India changes its no first use policy? Shift in policy may trigger non-cooperation of other countries like Japan, USA with India in civil nuclear deals, which may hit its clean energy goals. Shift in policy will make India like Pakistan. It will lose the high ground in struggle against terrorism. Shift in policy will reinforce Pakistan military claims for more resources to protect its territory. India's shift in policy requires massive and hair-triggered nuclear arsenal like America and Russia, which involves lot of complications. South Asia will be dubbed a nuclear flashpoint, which will encourage international meddling and discourage investment. It will increase the nuclear arm race,